on the computer.
Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. On the broadcast today, we got Keith Flournoy, Guy Moore, Tammy Harris, and Dr. Quick. He's the one walking in his house. Man, I thought we was going to be on here talking about Bears win, Bears win, Bears win.
Would have been nice.
But they kind of did win.
What happened?
They didn't win.
How do you not get an obvious PI call?
I agree.
In your own house.
I agree that, they gave up a PI call against Eddie Jackson that shouldn't have been called, and then they didn't call the PI against Chase Claypool.
And it took him 19 minutes to call that doggone holding call on the guy on the line, and he had to look back. Wait, your shirt is ripped? Okay, we'll make the call. Just like it was blatant calls that were blatant that they didn't make, but that's what happens, man. You learn and learn.
Hey, Mike, we're going to have to call on your referee experience. What did you see on those two PIs today?
Well, it should have been that was a blatant pass interference on Claypool. I mean, the guy was holding, pulling them back, and all of that, and by definition, that's clearly pass interference. That's really the ball game right there, because now they're in field goal range, could at least kick the field goal to tie the game, and potentially go up and potentially win the game.
Yeah. What about the one they called on Eddie Jackson? Did you remember that one?
It's marginal at best. I mean, those are called game interrupters. It's not. I mean, it's there, but it's not callable. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing that's huge that's going to impact the game. So you should let that go. Okay.
Yeah, I see one of the Facebook users put special team mistake that block punt. Yeah. You can't have block punts. And then they end up scoring on you, and basically the Bears lost 35. Was it 35-32 today?
Yeah,
that's the difference in the score of the game. I know other stuff happened throughout the game, but you can't lose by more than by giving up a touchdown in special teams because somebody missed their assignment. I mean, look, you got one assignment. And that's the block on special teams. That's it. And the guys outside to get down there and try to get the ball, got to down the ball or whatever. You got to block them guys. I mean, they almost hit a jailbreak on that play.
It sounded like you just said you had one job.
Hold on, who's that? John Muhammad said Herbert missed the block. Dude ran right over him. Oh, okay. Thanks for pointing out who it was.
That puts things in a different light.
It sure does.
Yeah, pretty much.
We know he's not known for blocking. He still has some work to do on his blocking. But as far as the Bears losing today 35-32, we had hope at the end of that game. That pass interference should have been called on Claypool, like Mike just indicated. He pretty much grabbed his waist and pulled him. He almost tackled him before the ball got there.
He molested him.
He felt him up.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you're supposed to get a number when you start doing that much touching.
Yeah.
You ain't supposed to go home by yourself if you done that much touching.
Yeah. Usually you got a bottle of liquor and Vaseline.
Man. Shoot.
Man.
Hey, you know what? The most impressive thing today, other than if we had won, was Chicago has a quarterback.
We've been saying that for a couple games now. You're right.
Yeah. We're seeing good games stacking and you're seeing less of just the bad plays. And when I say bad plays, not necessarily by the quarterback. You used to have these like bad plays where maybe a snap on the ground and just stuff, right? Like that would just happen, delay of game, just little stuff like that that was kind of building like bad plays. You haven't had, I ain't trying to jinx them, but you haven't had none of that. Even where they tried to snap the ball bad today, Jester was able to corral it, right? And actually made a good play out of a bad snap, you know?
Right. But you know what the deal is, though, man? I think that people understand that Jesus is number one, but he doesn't wear the number one. You know what I'm saying? It's like they went out here, it's like, oh, Justin Fields should get benched. He should get traded. I don't know. He know it. But I'm looking around at intel from a whole lot of quarterbacks who played the game and are playing the game around the league. And almost to a consensus, every last one of them said, this dude is the real deal. He's got the tools. The only thing he doesn't have is the confidence, and he just needs to understand that he doesn't need to be too cute. Now you're seeing what they're seeing. I mean, it's like his whole thing now is like his reads are really good. 178 yards rushing. He is a real problem because now you got a guy that got an arm, and you just can't rest your laurels or just rushing back there to try to sack him because you come back in the backfield and you ain't gonna see nothing but the back of his jersey. But I'm glad he's turned the corner. I'm glad he's starting to develop a little more, and he's getting better every day. So now, can we leave Justin Fields alone and try to get us some, just a little bit defense?
Yeah, okay. Bernard, I think Justin Fields was responsible for 4 TDs today.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for 3 and ran for 1.
Oh yeah, I'm correct that.
So that's 6. That's 7. What, 6 or 7 TDs the last 2 games he's responsible for.
What you think, Tammy?
He threw for 3 and he ran for 2?
He threw for 3 and he ran for 1.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's definite improvement. I think the offense is coming together and we see the growth and development that we hoped would have started last season had, he been used effectively, but, we're seeing it this year. So all the naysayers about him specifically and his performance, they have a lot less to say now.
Yeah,
exactly.
They should.
Completely agree.
Exactly.
I mean, it takes time. It takes time.
It definitely takes time. And I believe the turning point we're going to look at when this season over is we might not like the results of that game, but was the Washington game.
Yep.
I believe that was the turning point. Like I said, we may not be happy about the results, but that's the game when he said, I'm tired of being close.
Yep.
But after that game between him, the offensive coordinator, or whatever the team did, right, and what he did, you have seen progress. You've seen them kind of tweak the offense. He's seen more confidence. And also what I like about Justin, like one of the criticisms I just had about Justin at some point was, it was like he didn't know when should he run, right? And and that could be the coaches messing up your head, telling you don't run, stay in the pocket, right? Because sometimes that's coaching, right? They get trying to corral these guys that are that athletic and want them to play in the box. No, let those guys play to their strength. And hey, you know what? I don't care if he'd have ran for 300 yards today. I mean, that's a hell of a performance. 301 yards. I think I've added right. 301 yards of total offense, passed for 3 TDs, and ran for a TD. I believe Cole Kmet had 2 TDs today. You even seeing the emergence of Cole Kmet. One play he catch, and I'm proud of Cole Kmet. He ran like a big guy again. He ran somebody over in the play. I mean, like I said, this is a huge dude. Cole Kmet is about 6'6" or 6'7". About 260-something pounds, somewhere up in there. Look, there's no corners that should be able to bring you down by themselves. They got to go low. So I seen the difference in that. What you got, Mike?
Well, I'm just happy watching Justin Lamar Jackson Fields play the game. He is really turned the corner because I remember a couple weeks ago I was saying that somebody is in his head, and so by them being in his head, he doesn't know what to do. When am I going to be right? When am I going to be wrong? And I think now these guys are just playing football because they really don't have much to play for. And so now when you look at the schedule and you like, oh, we got to play the Bears, you're like, damn, we might lose this game because they don't have nothing to play for. They all playing for continuity and trying to get some things together. So it looks really good. Cole Kmet's coming out of his shell. And I'm really excited about when they can put everything together. I think the only thing, who was that? Who dropped that pass?
Equinemius St. Brown.
Yes, first of all, when your name is Equinemius, I mean, you're screwed from birth. I mean, who the hell would name their kid Equinemius? But part of we can't label him as a wide receiver because he was out wide and he didn't receive anything. I mean, the ball hit him in the middle of both hands. So I mean, like, come on, man, dang, you got one job, bro, one job. You got to catch that ball.
You know what they call wide receivers that catch like that, right?
No.
Cornerbacks.
No. Hey, I used to catch the ball. I mean, like, man, that might have been in somebody else's case. That wasn't in my case because I was out there trying to catch the ball even when he was throwing it to the other dude. So, nah, man, you got one job. That ball that he dropped is probably worth $10,000 in his salary.
But now that you're a newly minted doctor, quick, you just go up to someone and say, "Ma'am, I'm terribly sorry. Some horrible news. Your husband has Equinemius. I don't know I don't know. Is he gonna make it? He's gonna make it. I don't know, but he's gonna drop the hell out of a lot of balls." So.
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook today. Hey, Miss Laverna, thank you for tuning in. Laverna used to watch my children growing up. She said it's getting better. Jimmy Red said special teams, and the ref lost this for us. He also said what you said, Plank, that Mooney looked like he needs to be in the slot. I see another message here. The Packers lost to Detroit.
That's a great message.
They tanking.
Hey, what's that? 6-game losing? Oh, it's 5-game losing streak, right?
Yeah.
5. Okay. Hey, but what else did we see today? Oh, you know what? Let's show that video, Plank, that we have of Mooney, one of Mooney's runs.
All right, it's queued up.
Justin's run, I think.
You ready?
Yes.
Jones the block at the left tackle. Time for
bye.
Now he'll accelerate and get the first down and break tackles, and he's off to the races. Oh, he got a terrific block down there by Mooney. He's in for 6.
Justin Lamar Jackson.
And your quarterback is creating separation in the flat.
Well, this is why Matt Eberflus
and this is why we got him.
Luke Getzky are so high on what Justin Fields can do. You can't coach this. This is just something that your natural ability, it takes over. The speed, the size,
block.
what he has. He steps up in the pocket. He wants to throw. He's not looking to run.
You know what? He just seems to understand.
That's a career
Get it and get it out quick.
Well, just the way he freezes him with that move, Kevin. It's just.
Hey, when you make a run like that, you got to be talking while you're doing it. When you run and excuse me, pardon me. Excuse me. I'll be right back, guys. Excuse me, pardon me. But you notice what you said was that was a good block by Mooney. You got to want to throw that block and get that guy in the end zone. They wasn't doing that before. So, they're playing more together. And so they probably had a meeting like, hey, man, let's just ball out. Let's just ball out. The offense is putting up 32, 29, 30. I mean, eventually we're going to turn the corner. You got to be excited about how many points we used to score in the previous years. What, 2?
2 touchdowns. 2 field goals.
Man, we started off the game
12.
Nagy and Mitch were the most field goal kickingest mofos we're getting the ball in the end zone now. You know what I'm saying? Like on the Blues Brothers, I can see the light. Man, it's coming. You just got to trust the process. It's coming.
And poor Mitch Trubisky, they had an article that they talking about. Now you can recycle your number 10 jerseys because you have someone, Mr. Claypool. I'm like, if you put some tape on it, just draw his name in the back.
There you go.
If I was Claypool, there's nowhere in hell I was wearing that jersey. No, give me 10.5. I ain't wearing 10. No way.
So, Bernard, what I think happened in the game today was this. The offensive line good job blocking. They gave up 1 sack, but for the most part, they kept them clean. That made a difference. Justin Fields does not give up, so he's going to fight all the way to the end. He did a good job, both with his legs as well as his arm. And the defense was porous. That's the best way I can define them. You know, you're going to have problems with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I'll tell you one thing I never do. I never try to play him man-to-man. I'm just throwing it out there.
What? Really? Really?
Hey.
I didn't get that memo. I'm sorry.
We had an argument about that Friday.
Hey, you know what I did see as far as when the Bears got to the fourth quarter, the adjustment that they made defensively, I thought they should have made earlier. The Bears were trying to rush 4 and drop 7 in coverage. And I understand with those guys' speeds what you're trying to do, but what you was actually allowing was the quarterback too much time to throw the ball, and he was always able to find those guys in those open seams or zones. And so what they did later in the game was they actually started rushing 5. And they were bringing pressure sometime off that 5, which that's where his incompletes came in. Because like Plank said, if you looked at that game initially, when you first think about it, you was like, when did he throw an incompletion? Because it's like early in the game, it's like everything he threw was complete, but most of them was near the end of the game as they got him off his spot, which you could see at the end of the game. He had the one play where it was almost a sack, and they was trying to see was it an intentional grounding. Then you had another play similar like that, which I believe they should have probably started trying to bring pressure earlier. I know they was concerned about letting them get beat deep, but at the most part, the Bears offense give the Bears a chance in these games lately where you feel like give them one more possession. They could win this game, you know. In a game like this, in a couple of weeks or whenever it is, these are those last possessions where when you start getting people like Claypool in tune, not in tune, but the plays and stuff like that, they're gonna win these games. When they come down to these one possession games, they're gonna win these because they're gonna have at least two or three dogs who can win those fights, right? You're gonna have Komet that can win those fights. You're gonna have Claypool. You're gonna have Mooney. So you won't be throwing to what's his name, EQ.
Equanimous.
You know,
Carnivorous.
He said that's a curse. That's a curse from birth. Curse from birth.
Amon Ra's brother.
Who's that? Amon
Ra's brother,
We just call him Rash St. Brown. So but you know what I'm excited about in that respect to see their offense come along, man. You know what I'm so excited. I can't wait to see Green Bay at Soldier Field, man. I can't wait.
I think Green Bay is in tank mode. There's no way they should lose to Detroit.
All we need is just, you know what will make my day. Even if we won 7-9, I just want to see Bob say, "Oh, Detroit, Detroit is what
they be scoring points.
They bad, but they was better than Green Bay today."
They scored points, but didn't they just fire their defensive backfield coach?
Mm-hmm. This is a valid point that one of the Facebook users that's saying,
same thing.
Can't believe the Bears have an offense ahead of schedule.
Yep.
That is true. The Bears offense are ahead of schedule because when you can put up points in this league, and think about what they said today, that two teams that have these many points going into halftime. I mean, you look at these games this year, it's not been too many games where teams are getting over 30 points, let alone having 20-something going into halftime. So the Bears, I mean, if this offense get fixed, of course you got some pieces you still have to get, but you could look at the draft a whole lot differently if you don't have to look at replacing almost every other person on offense. If you got some people that can work out, or you could, still another year with them in the starting lineup, man, you definitely could see the plan coming into place. But, now one thing I do want to mention, though, in the Bears offense, I really want to see them get more ball security. They did not have any fumbles today, But they had this one play where Montgomery ran outside, and I think he didn't get the first. And it was more so because he almost lost control of the ball again. And it's not just him, it's a bunch of them. And they got to work on their ball security. But I think it was a ball that it was off tackle. And he kind of like shoved his lineman. And just as he was almost about to go down, the ball dislodged, which caused him to turn to try to secure the ball. And he ended up being short on that play because he almost lost possession of the ball. I don't know. They may need to do like Bill Belichick used to do his players. You fumble the ball, he gave you wet balls, and you play. You had wet balls all week to make you secure the ball.
You don't want to run with wet balls. That can't be good.
First, y'all talk about wet balls, and you talking about penetration.
I'm sorry, Gabby. I couldn't let that go. Too easy.
Hell of a swimming pool moment, ain't it?
We sorry, y'all.
Yeah, boy.
That's what she said. Okay.
I'll take a fifth on that one.
Hey, let's move to the Bears as far as grading. What grades do y'all have on the offense today?
Well, we might as well start out on a good note. I gave the offense a B+. I thought they did a good job. They again ran for over 200 yards. The offensive line did a good job blocking, minimal penalties, and that's something we just take for granted at this point in the Eberflus regime, that the Bears are not going to get a lot of penalties, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. So I thought the offense did a good job. They had a good cadences for the most part. They tried to spread the ball around. And it's going to take a minute for Claypool to get up to speed, but it makes a difference. And hats out to Cole Kmet. That dude definitely played big boy football today. Again, something must have happened with this guy. Maybe they told him they wasn't going to feed him no more, whatever, because he's a touchdown scoring machine over the last 3 weeks. So offense, once again, B+. I think they're doing a good job, and they definitely trending successfully.
Okay. Any other grades on offense?
I give them a B+. I mean, they still have what I said they needed to do to win this game was the wide receivers needed to help Justin Fields out a little bit. They did help him, but we still had a couple of 2 or 3 that should have been caught that weren't caught. That could have been the difference in the game. There are a couple things that could have been a difference in the game. That, the PI call, and the blocked punt. But the offense overall, they're coming together. They did a good job. Justin was great. I'll give him an A, but I'll give the offense overall a B+. They, like he said, the line is blocking, pretty well. We only had 1 sack. So it was a hopeful game that just came up short.
Okay. So I'm going to give the offense, I'm going to get an offense a B+ as well. The things I believe they need to work on is we still having problems with guys coming up with that deep ball. For sure. There are some passes that are on the money, and for some reason guys are not able to bring those balls down. They're touching their hands. So it was a good game call, but our guys got to catch those balls, and they definitely got to stretch the field better. The only body is kind of stretching the field a little bit as far as coming down with it is Mooney. So it's B+. What you got, guy?
I give him a B++. And the reason why, 252 yards rushing. He only had 123 yards receiving, and guys are dropping balls. That's the only reason why I wouldn't give him an A. There are just a few things that they need to correct, but come on now. They gave us 32 points today. But I'll give him a B++.
Okay, got you. What about you, Quick?
Okay. No, so I'm going to give them I go back, man. They put up 32 points. I'm looking at points, production, and looking at them getting better every week. And so I'll give them a A- equanimous, whatever. So I mean, you talking about the deep ball, but man, you got to catch a 10-yard out, bro. I mean, I can't save you. I wish it was the dang on trade week. They wouldn't even found nobody to take this dude, man. God, dog. 10-yard out right through both hands. I can't believe it. I'm gonna go A- equanimous, whatever math structure y'all want to put that together.
That sounds like a trigonometry program.
You're watching the game, and I'm like,
theorem. Okay,
how do you miss that ball? Like, God dang it, man!
Don't hit him here.
Yeah,
hit him in a bad spot. I mean,
right. He's supposed to throw the balls to his hands, man.
Right.
Throw it to his helmet, right? Let it get stuck on his helmet or something.
Might as well throw it to the DB. Shit, at least watch somebody catch. That was a perfect ball, man. You know, never mind. I digress.
Because if you look at those guys' stat sheets, you know, and I'm not talking about Mooney. When you look at those guys' stat sheets, I would say most of their catches, those guys like EQ and Pettis, were screens. They was like, you know, 2 or 3 yards, right? Like, you got to catch that, but anything that's going up the field, they not guaranteed to come down with it.
Well, you know what, Bernard? I think what we're talking about now is the difference between guys that are first 3-quarter players versus crunch time. You know, and many times you get credit, the same credit for making a catch, whether it's first, second, third, or fourth. But it's just, you really need a dog in the fourth quarter because he knows that the pressure's on him, and, you know, he's going to come up big. Pettis is great for the first 3 quarters. You see him catching a couple passes. EQ generally will do the same thing, but when the game gets tight, you definitely, you know, I think that's a coaching issue. You don't even want that dude on the field. At this point, he's missed too many of these passes. But the problem is, who do you replace him with? You got Pettis or EQ, and either one of them wants to show up in the fourth quarter. They running around like, whatever you do, don't throw the ball to me.
But you know what? The other element.
Tammy, feel bad. I know Tammy got on the broadcast. You know, she's a trooper. She definitely wasn't feeling well. Right. But thank you, Tammy, for getting on.
You know what? What I can't stand the terminology that's been used so loosely right now. It's not even applicable to about 80% of receivers. They call them 50-50 receivers. We know who the 50-50 receivers are because these are guys where people talk about, oh, well, as a receiver, you have to create separation. It's like, well, a lot of times you're not going to create separations, but if I throw the ball over to you half the time, you catch it, you a 50-50 guy. A lot of these guys say they're 50-50 guys, and what are they doing? Dropping balls. So, you know.
We're getting separation now, though.
Right, we are now.
We got guys that's open now. And so you look at the plays that's being called and things like that. These guys are open now. And so we just have to do the other part of it and catch the football. You know, I'm going to harp on that. But, like, you got to know that, first of all, if I'm Equanimous St. Brown Deuteronomy the Third or whatever the hell his name is, right? They just brought in Chase Claypool, right?
Yep.
They didn't get rid of any other receivers, so your touches are going to be limited.
Yeah.
So you have to do what you got to do for your touches because you still playing to be around. You know what I'm saying? Or they're going to stop you. I mean, it's just that simple. If you can't get the job done, find other employment. Bagging groceries at Kroger. I mean, damn.
Hey, they got, you know, Mitch up at the cash register now. You got some friends, man. Talk to Mitch. They might even put you on groceries.
We're talking about a 10-yard out, though. I mean, it ain't even close. You wide open. Damn. Like, man, you supposed.
Hey, I wouldn't trust him packing my avocados either. So he can't catch. He can't bag groceries either.
What you say about my avocados?
Let's go back to this for a minute because before we go to the defense, Claypool is going to be a problem.
Yeah,
he's definitely going to be a problem because you could see the space he was able to create for Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you used to could just target in on Mooney and try not to, let Mooney beat you. But you notice on his catches today, Mooney had more space, and it was being effective because Claypool, big as he is, I mean, he could take the top off the defense. I mean, he could outright fly man down the field. So man, I mean, I can see that if that time and get on, that may be a nice combination with
I told you,
Mooney, and then Komet going to benefit. I believe Komet is going to benefit a lot from this because
he already has.
You're going to start playing off him, letting him have that stuff underneath because you worry about those two.
Right.
What you got, Plank?
Well, you see they already moved Mooney back into the slot, which is his preferred position. You know, he's not a big guy, so putting him out there on the outside, you know, he gets ramshacked and beat up and slapped around pretty nicely. Now you got these two big Vikings out there on the end, Claypool and in some cases N'Keal Harry.
There you go.
That makes a difference. If you look at the touchdown that Mooney got, it was because he was in the slot and he was able to, you know, work it from that position, which is the position he's been working with most of the time he's been with the Bears anyway. So I think he's a really good slot receiver, and it makes the difference where you line him up.
You know what? I don't know who was that cornerback, that first cornerback on Chase Claypool. He's like a third grade on that dude, man. This guy he was running, man. He was running, and God is my witness. They showed the replay. He's running like that. The top of dude's helmet was like right here. They got toddlers in the league now. It's like, if I was a quarterback, I'd have just kept throwing it to him. Now he'd get a 50-50 ball by just standing there like that. He could just post this quarterback up.
He got quite a catch radius, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I said when they first got Chase Claypool this week, and I talked to Nutty, and I told Nutty, I said he has the potential to be better than what Allen Robinson was here.
Yeah.
Because he can create separation. He can go for the deep ball. There's not many routes that he can't run, and people talked about his production the last couple of years in Pittsburgh. Well, hell, he had everybody throwing him the ball. It was like a dunk tank throwing the ball. You know, you had a Roethlisberger who was at the end of his career who couldn't throw more than 15 yards. Then you had a couple of other guys. They was doing quarterback by committee. It's hard to get a rhythm, but he has probably more upside than Allen Robinson did when he was here, because Allen Robinson's routes were limited when he was here, and he didn't really create separation. You had to like squeeze the ball into him for him to use his big body, but this big body can run.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you could see the excitement around him. Like I said, we ain't saying he did a whole lot today, but you could see how Chicago fans, just from just a little play, they was excited just to him to touch the ball. I mean, what that guy gonna find out, if you show out in Chicago, you gonna never be without a job because
you never have to buy another drink
everywhere.
And he got the perfect setup.
What's that guy?
He got the perfect setup, man. He from Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? So if he come to the Bears and he show out, man, but that changes. But one thing I like about the Claypool situation, and we could even see it on offense, it totally changes the way that teams scout us now. They can't go out like, okay, we're going to key in on Mooney. Now it's pick your poison. And now it's like they might do a one-on-one with Mooney, and it's going to be interesting.
The thing I like about that, guys, they outbid Green Bay, and they snuck right in. This was actually a pretty ingenious play by Ryan Poles. First of all, he looked at the receivers that are coming out of college, as well as the receivers that are going to be available in free agents. And he said, you know what? This guy is going to be better than what I can get if I just hold my position. And he went out and got him. So I'm really excited about, him making that move. We may have to get away from some of these Notre Dame guys because all of them can't necessarily play. Equanimity of St. Brown is from Notre Dame too, but I think Claypool looked pretty good today, as well as Komet. They actually need to be in a locker room slapping St. Brown because he made Notre Dame look bad. The other two were out there playing pretty well.
They probably won't enter.
Jay should be joining us. I think Jay gonna join us shortly.
Okay.
Jay was at the game. I know I saw pictures of him out there tailgating. And man, I know Jay. I can see him in the game, like unbelievable. I can see Jay at the end of the game doing that. But anyway, hey, let's
get my helmet.
And let's move over to the defense. I mean,
We have
There's
to.
not a lot to say about them other than terrible, bad.
And now the coaching.
We got a thesaurus of different words for bad.
Crank yankers.
Terrible with a U. Terrible.
What was that, Quick?
Crank yankers. Coming to the stage, the Crank Yankers from Chicago. They are
Well, I tell you what,
C-
Bernard.
for real?
Actually, strangely enough, I agree with him. I came up with a C- for the defense as well.
And you went at my party drinking last night?
I was.
Wait, what? I got a minus. Mine is a minus.
I was over the corner. I was. Look, and the reason that they came up with a C- is actually the Bears made some defensive adjustments, whether we believe it or not. Here's the stat: the last 4 possessions, they were not able to score at all. I know, because they ran up and down the field so much at the beginning of the game. It just seemed like they were just really destroying us, and they were. But after the second half adjustments, the Bears made a couple stops, and they gave the ball back to the offense when they give them a chance to win the game. We didn't, but defense actually did turn up some things, and the second half defense once again was a lot better than we would have expected. I would like defense to do a lot better than what they did, but I like the fight in them.
Okay. Hey, let's talk about what we saw, y'all view of what you saw defensively, before we get to the grades.
Nothing.
Yeah, looking at the defense play, I sent this text to y'all jokingly and said the punters for other teams need to file a union complaint because they would like to work on the day they play the Bears.
Probably.
The punter doesn't get any work when they play the Bears for the other team.
That's crazy.
But anyway,
Right.
what I'm seeing is Eddie Jackson still played a good game today.
Yeah.
Eddie is making some tackles. I seen some people criticizing Eddie. 1 or 2 people, maybe they kind of stuck on the narrative from 2 years ago on Eddie or last year. That's the only thing I can see, because sometimes people get narratives and they get stuck on that same narrative, right? And then they won't advance what they're seeing to what's currently happened. But Eddie made some nice tackles. I actually seen him hit. I mean, one tackle was he actually laid his body, and I kind of felt the contact through the TV. I'm like, man, Eddie. Now, what I did see was I saw Jalen Johnson on quite a few plays that between him and the safety, they was confused. I don't know who fault it was, but I saw a lot of, I thought you was gonna be there, and whatever going on with Jalen. Hey, guess what, dude? Man up and cover your man. Whatever it is, hey, you get to talk to the guy. But I did see a lot where I don't know, like I said, if it was miscommunication with him and whoever was in that zone. And I did think a few times, and he finally did it at the end of the game. Was it him? No, but maybe it was it might have been Eddie. A couple of those plays, I was like, if you just put your hand up, you probably would have deflected the ball.
That was him at the end of the day.
That was him at the end of the game, right? So it was a few times earlier where he was actually, if he had just put his hands up, he would have probably deflected the ball or disrupt the person's vision. But the Bears defensive line, they have to get better. Those guys have to get home. They didn't get any pressure until the second half, but it was only like one time where they kind of almost got home, and most of the time they were missing the target. I thought the linebacker play today was much better. It's hard to say this, but it was much better than I had been seeing. I actually seen Morrow show up on some plays. I thought Jack Sandberg played a pretty decent game. I still don't know who the other linebacker is. I guess they play in the 5-2 or something. I don't know, because I don't know who the other linebacker is, because I never hear his name called. I don't know if he shows up on the stat sheet or who he is.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. All during the game today, I was talking about Jalen Johnson. I kept using singed, burnt, fried, soufflé, baked. It was ridiculous, and he wanted to go head up against the top wide receivers. I think today he showed that he's not quite ready as he thinks he is. He's still a good corner, but he can't do nothing with Tariq and Waddle. That was pretty ridiculous.
But the truth of the matter is nobody can do anything to him, and anybody's got a level of humility instead of sitting out there thinking, "Oh, I got some dogs and all that stuff." You put Tariq up against any cornerback in the history of the game right now. It's only maybe one or two that can kind of stay with him. Let alone,
how you gonna say that with me and Mike Quick here, man? You can't say nothing like that.
I'm talking about that's currently on a NFL roster right now.
Oh, okay, sure.
But seriously speaking,
I got no sense to trip him.
See, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, a lot of times you get these guys out there on their pride thinking, "I'm cool. I got him. No, you don't. You know what I'm saying? Because your boy Hill was up there. There had to be about 3 or 4 catches that he had that he was like, and Kyler did as best as he could, man. But he was like 5 yards off guys. So it ain't always necessary to cover it. It's just the fact that dude just freaking you. You know what I'm saying? So they were elite wide receivers, but it's up to the defensive coordinator to say, yeah, man, you good, but nobody's that good. Give him some help or whatever. Because 146 yards?
Yikes!
It's hard to double them though, because you got 2 of them. I mean, it's like double Waddle. You leave Tariq single coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Double Tariq. You leave Waddle double. I mean, it's like.
But what change? The only way that you could change that narrative as far as doubling them up or whatever, if you're getting pass rushing, if you're front four, you going 7 out deep, and you got 4 pass rushes, and they can't get to the quarterback. No matter who you put out there, how many people, they still gonna get theirs. But if they could get some penetration on the line, then now force the quarterback to throw it a little fast.
They had 4 pass rushers out there today, really?
Well, allegedly.
Didn't seem like it.
Allegedly. But one thing I will say about the defense, I was looking at that C- and like, it's kind of crazy. But then I looked at a couple things. The first thing somebody would probably say is, yeah, well, they did great because they only gave up 77 yards. They're not a rushing team. So, that is what it is. But I'm looking through Jalen Johnson, Nick Morrow, Gibson, Gordon, Sanborn. Every last one of them had tackles. And Nick Morrow's the only one he had 4 total tackles with 2 solos. Everybody else, whatever number of tackles they had like Kyler Gordon, 8 total, 7 solo. Sanborn, 7 total, 7 solo. So they getting it. It just is what it is. So you know what? I'll give them a C-. I'll go with the C-.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see Christian said they played zone all game and they didn't get a pass rush. Plus Miami was doing a quick game. Hey, I also thought, kind of helped later on in the game. I thought the D-backs played closer to the line and was not giving them the 7 to 8 yards that they initially was giving them. They seemed like they kind of, I know they didn't jam them or anything, but they did seem to play closer to the line to take that quick throw away, because he basically was getting the ball. And I mean, he was like playing darts. He was getting the ball out so fast. And Tua, like the announcers mentioned, Tua actually does throw to the middle of the field a lot. I know when you watch a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, you get a lot of sideline throws or throws outside the numbers. And if you think about the cover 2, the weakness is in the middle of the field. If you could get that drop right over in there between the right over the linebacker and before you get to the safety area, that's where that weakness is in that cover 2. What you have, Plank? Like you're about to say something.
No, I'm good. I was,
okay.
I know Tammy's being a trooper today, and so I wanted to hear from her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, although Keith and I have not been agreeing a lot.
Imagine that.
A lot lately. I kind of, need to come to Chicago and maybe like clothesline him, but
it ain't gonna end like you think it's gonna end.
But I actually was leaning towards a C- too. And the main reason is because at the end of the game, they did hold them. I mean, I think at the beginning, the first 5 of 6 or 6 of 7, I can't remember, possessions, Miami scored. Like they were stopping absolutely nothing. I think it's because, I think we weakened our defense just a little bit too much. But our offense is coming together. Now we need the defense to help them out a little bit more. They still gave us an opportunity to at least try to win it at the end of the game when it counted. So they stepped up. So they went from the D that I was going to give them to a C minus. I just hope that they're still, in my opinion, playing too far off the receivers and giving them too much room at times. And then at the times where they didn't give them too much room, they overplayed it a few times and got burnt that way. So they have to find a way to make the right adjustments and show up hopefully like the Chicago defense should and can when it comes together.
Okay.
Hey, Plank, I'm a piggyback on that. It's not.
You said a C minus?
C minus.
Hey,
Okay.
Plank, I'm a piggyback on that. It's not gonna go the way you say it, Plank. You know them boxers when they get out there, they do this and shake their glove. She gonna have a caramel cake in her hand. She gonna be like this. And you gonna be like, what? And then you gonna see that big Acme anvil just drop where you like, boom.
Oh man.
I'm just saying, man. I know it's a sore spot for Quick and the caramel cake, man. I figured I would throw out a mention, man.
Man, you saw the cake last night, man. You saw the cake last night.
Yeah,
Purple and gold cake, you know what I'm saying, for the bros. It was all
there
good.
you
It
go.
was all good.
Hey, DG Daniels, thanks for tuning in. He check us out all the time on YouTube. I really appreciate him tuning in week after week. Appreciate that. He said the ref earned their Vegas money today. Yeah, I think they had a couple of tickets they was cashing in today. Hey, let's look at this before we continue the scores. Let's bring this up, then we go back to the scores on the defense. We have Jay, we closing in on Jay. Well, I'm not closing in on Jay because I had the same pick as Jay. But Jay is 5-4. Guy is 4-5. Guy closing in on Jay. Quick 3-6. I'm 3-6. Tammy 3. I messed yours up right there, Tammy. Yours 3-6. Plank 3-6. Christian 3-6, and Mo is 4-5. And let's look at some of the scores. Hold on. I'm sorry, my mouse that fell on the floor. Let's look at some of the scores that we predicted in this game. Plank was actually the closest. It just happened to be the other way around. Plank had the 35-33 the Bears. He was very close. He was only 1 point off in this game. I might have been the second closest. I had the Bears 35-30. I think after that, you're looking at Christian. No, Tammy. Tammy had the Bears 35-28. Christian had the Bears 30-24. Guy had the Fans 23-20. I didn't have your score, Mike.
I just said Miami was gonna win the game.
Okay. I got yours wrong then. Let me fix that then. So
when anybody that has two receivers that plays against the Bears secondary, you can just automatically put me down for the other team. Because man, it's like it's almost like that next morning. Shoot, we need a plan B.
Shoot, forget the next morning. We need a cigarette right now.
It's rough on our secondary, man. I mean, wait. Oh my God.
So I get a Bears
the offense again.
I get a Bears defense a C minus. They did give up. The Bears defense did give up 28 points. Minus the special teams play. They gave up 20, but I actually will say
49.
Yes, it's better than 49.
We're getting better.
Tremendous improvement.
Yeah.
And actually, they got 2 stops. I want to say they got 2 stops down the stretch to give the Bears an opportunity to get back in the game, because that's actually they ended up, I believe, I want to say they ended up having a punt, and they stopped them on the 4th down,
right?
In which gave them opportunity twice to try to get back in the game, because I think one of the possessions the Bears ended up punting back to them,
right?
And so I give them a C minus. Hey, did you get your grade quick? You gave a grade? I know playing.
Nah, I ain't getting no grade on defense.
Okay.
Like
complete.
It's like on Family. It's on Family Feud. When you get to that question, you can't.
Good answer.
You be like, pass. Pass. I pass. I pass it over to somebody else. I can't give a grade on that. That's despicable.
He had a Looney
Despicable
Tunes
D.
grade.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's what you didn't win.
Hey, let's move to the special teams and the coaching. I give the coaching offensively. I'm going to give them about the same grade as I gave the offense, a B+ as far as offense coach. Defense, I'm gonna grade them the same as I grade. I guess overall for the team, I'm gonna give the coaches a B- in this because special teams, man, if you give up a score on special teams, that's a D. If you give up a score, what y'all got? Special team and coaches, what y'all have?
Well, for special teams, what I had, Khalil Herbert ran back a kickoff 31 yards. That was decent. Santos was solid as he always is. But again, that blocked punt, not only did they let the punt be blocked, but they gave it up for a touchdown. So I gave defense a D. Special team a D. And the coaches, I just went ahead and pushed the coaches' grades with the units that they coach.
Okay. What you have, Guy?
Coaches, I guess we could grade on the curve. Yeah, I'd probably give the coach maybe a B+. But the special team, I almost did it, but I'm gonna go and
the Vegas
out there. Okay, I'm gonna give special teams a D because there's only 4 block punts in the league this year, and they get a 6 on there, so I got to give them a D.
Okay. Hey, Tammy, what'd you give as far as coaches and special teams?
Special team gets a D because of that block punt. Again, it was a couple things that could have changed the game, but that was a big one. Coaches, I'll do 2 things and agree with Keith again. I give the coaches the same grade that I gave each unit.
What?
You got ibuprofen or something over there, Tammy? What you got?
What?
I took some extra strength Tylenol.
You must have took some extra strength because
Right. She even got me confused now. I'm like, wait a
Yeah,
minute, hold on.
yeah, I'm drugged.
What's going on here? Right.
Hey,
I'm about to bring my boy back.
Hey, Mike.
It's like
Hey,
Tammy.
Mike, I was talking to a lady that was at your party last night. I was thinking about what he just said about Tammy. And so she was like, yeah, Bernard, I had a panic attack last night, stomach day. I said, yeah, what happened? Yeah, guy was laughing at her. And basically, she went to a dispensary and she thought she was dying, right? And so she got to the hospital and she said she kept hitting the emergency, the panic button in the hospital. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And she was like, I'm about to die. They're like, no, you're not. You just high.
You said she's probably like
that's how
crazy
my party was last night. That people who had panic attacks the day before, they still came to Mike's party.
and she was the one that was smoking. Most of the people that get them panic attacks is from them gummies because they see those gummies, they eat it. Man, this ain't nothing. You eat about 9 or 10 more. Next thing you know, you and your church clothes stand on your head in the bathtub. It's like,
what you got, Mike?
Just say no, kids.
Well, since he said, no, never mind. No. We're going to church this week. We're not going to church this week. We're talking about coaches, considering that half of the things that Justin Fields does is not coachable. I got to go with a C. And the defensive coach gets up. My screen froze for a minute. Oh, we got music?
Yeah. Where's it coming from?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, we about to go
we got church music.
We got the church music on. Hey, after that dude dropped that ball, man, I don't even have the energy. hey, guy, you saw how my friends were doing me last night. Every time I looked up, it was something in my cup. I can't even. I don't even know how I'm here functioning this morning. Man, it was a rough time, but it was a great time by all. You guys we should have did Bears Banter from the party.
Oh man. No, I always say I always say somebody higher than a giraffe's ass. That giraffe was looking at Quick like this.
I was like, man.
Excuse y'all. You know what? They get a little besides themselves out there on Facebook land and YouTube.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me this time.
Hey, who is our next game? I didn't look at the schedule. Who's
Our next game is the Lions.
Lions
and Tigers and Bears. Oh my.
And win Soldier Field too.
Win Soldier Field.
Right.
The Lions actually, just like Tammy brought up today, the Lions actually just beat the Packers today.
I'll take it.
I'll take it too.
The Packers are tanking.
See, there's a card way out there.
So we'd love to see some of the stuff offensively carry into this next game. We don't want to see anything defensively carried over to the next game at all. Nothing at all.
We want to see the way they played in the fourth quarter at least carry over more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We like to see that. Hey, you know what I did notice today? I'm sorry, before we close out, I did want to note a couple of changes I noticed. Is Khalil Herbert running? I know he did it a few years ago, his rookie year, but Khalil Herbert running kickoffs. I just remember playing mention that. And also Pettis running punt returns. That's interesting because that means Velus Jones has been taken off kickoff returns as well.
No, he's been taken off the team. He was a healthy scratch. They didn't even they didn't let him suit up today.
They didn't let him suit up. So that's
everybody with weird names should be taken off. Velus and Equanimous. Y'all go stand over there.
And I want to know that Riley Reef in today's game looked better than what we had been seeing from Larry Bourne.
He was the one that gave your girl that weed because his name is Riley Reefer. He forgot how bad he played. That's how much he smoked that he was just a superstar. I got to get back on my.
Yeah. So I did note those changes. I'm not sure going, and I thought Whitehead played well for him to have been out. He'd been out by about 5 games, 4 games, and he came in and. I mean, if you look at it, Chubb, I don't think Chubb got close all day. I mean, maybe once or twice. But the offensive line showed well today. I mean, I know they had a lot of quick stuff. They did a lot of screens and stuff like that. But the offense is starting to look gel. And the remarkable thing is they started to gel the last 2 or 3 weeks with moving parts, right? Because it seemed like every other game now, every game really, there's somebody that's been hurt. You had a player out last week with a concussion, and then you had Whitehead inserted back into the lineup. It's Larry Bourne who was out with a concussion last week, and then you had Whitehead, and then you had the what's the guy's name? Lucas Patrick. You had him go out. He wasn't doing anything anyway. So
He's pretty soft. He's soft as chicken nugget meat.
You know what's it?
Obviously, the offensive line has looked actually from the time he went down, the offensive line has looked better with Lucas Patrick out of the lineup totally than him playing any position.
That's what we said.
Right.
You know what's interesting too? A lot of times I find, and I got to look at the tape, but a lot of times if you go through a game and you don't hear an offensive lineman name, that means he was a dog. I ain't hear Tevin Jenkins' name once.
Yeah. And Sam Mustipher at least tried to tackle people.
And he tripped the ones that he couldn't.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
Right. I think that one penalty was that one penalty called on Jenkins. They might have called that penalty on him.
No, they called it on Mustipher, but I didn't think he earned it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't really see much on that because that was the one with the what was that penalty? Because it actually called back up. Oh, you know what? They got lucky on that play because there was a defensive holding on that same play.
Right, and it gave up an interception.
They gave up an interception. Yep.
They canceled each other out. Yeah.
Somebody said, did Jenkins play? I think Jenkins played.
Yeah, he played.
Didn't you see all them people walking around talking about my head hurt, my back hurt?
Hey, what's up, Phil? Yeah, can you fit us in as another faithful watcher of this program on YouTube?
Man? What's funny is if you see Tevin Jenkins pancake somebody, he just lay up like them little baby pictures they used to have. They be doing like this. It's funny, but I mean, think about it though. If you pancake a dude and you just hold him down, he can't do nothing else. I ain't mad at him, but I think Mustard for what they did. You know, the time when they get hurt, they got that little bubble. They got another one back there. It's a shower because Mustafa ain't so musty no more. He's just a little tart. He's just tart.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. And we catch you on the pregame show and hit the subscription button. We actually down to 2 more users. Just 2 to get to 600. Peace.
Peace.